Right, a sphere is a three-dimensional circle. So this formula for the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. And the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So down here, find the volume and surface area. Find the exact value and approximate value. So remember, exact is going to be in terms of pi. So for the exact, you write volume equals 4 pi 14 squared, and you're going to keep the pi in front. So it's 784 pi inches squared. That's exact. When you approximate to the nearest tenth, you're going to put this in your calculator and leave it in one decimal. So when I put that in my calculator, it's about 2463.0 and then inches squared. You want to leave that 0.0 because it shows that you rounded to the nearest tenth. And then the next one, I need to find the volume. So I do 4/3 pi r cubed. So it's 4/3 pi 14 cubed, which simplifies to 10,976 over 3 pi inches cubed, and then you can put that in your calculator. So I did 14 cubed, multiplied it by 4, and got 10,976, and that number is not divisible by 3, so I just left it like that. And then over here, I'm going to do volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. The radius is 1, so volume equals 4/3 pi 1 cubed. So volume is just 4/3 pi centimeters cubed. Did I put my surface area right? Yeah, I did. Okay. So then I'd put that in my calculator and I would get about 4.2 centimeters cubed. So for the surface area, I do surface area equals 4 pi r squared. 4 pi times 1 squared equals 4 pi centimeters squared. That's exact. And so then that's approximately equal to 12.6 centimeters squared. Okay, similar thing with this one, so I'm not going to do that one. And this is a different type of problem. So the volume of the sphere is given. Find the surface area. So in order to find the surface area, we use the formula 4 pi r squared. So we need the radius. So what you're going to do is you're going to solve for the radius. So if we know the volume is 300, or 3,000, we know that 3,000 has to equal 4/3 pi r cubed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for r. So to solve for r, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. So these two will cancel out. And you'll have 9,000 over here equals 4 pi r cubed. So then I'm going to divide both sides by 4 pi to get the r cubed by itself. That cancels out. So to get the r by itself, if I have r cubed, I'm going to take the cube root of both sides. So r equals this right here. So this is going to be an irrational number, not only because I have a pi in there, but I'm taking the cube root of an irrational number. So it's going to be some long decimal. So I'm just going to keep this number in my calculator, and I'm going to do surface area equals 4 pi r squared. Surface area equals 4 pi. Now r is this stuff over here. So you're going to do the square root, not square root, sorry. You're going to do, I'm just putting this parentheses to show that I'm going to plug in r, which is the cube root of 9,000 divided by 4 pi, parentheses, square it. Now, when you put this in your calculator, remember you have to put the denominator in parentheses, otherwise it won't keep the pi on the bottom. So be careful with your order of operations. So you should try that on your calculator. So you should get surface area is about 34.4. So 34.4 centimeters squared. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I have 100 meters cubed is the volume. I want to solve for r, so I do 100 equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So to solve for r, I have to multiply both sides by 3. So I have 300 equals 4 pi r cubed. And then I divide both sides by 4 pi. This cancels out. Now, to get rid of the cube, you want to take the cube root again. So this is what r equals. So you do surface area equals 4 pi r squared. Surface area equals 4 pi. The radius is this. You're going to square it. So you do the cube root of 300 divided by 4 pi. Make sure to put that in parentheses. And this whole thing is under the cube root. And then you square it. It's kind of crazy when you do all that in your calculator. You could hold this number in your calculator, square it, and then multiply it by 4 pi if you feel more comfortable with that. But anyway, try that in your calculator and see if you get 104.2 meters squared. Okay, and then down here, their circumference is given. Okay, so the formula for circumference is 2r pi. Find the surface area and volume. So to find the surface area and volume, we need the r. So this is a circumference, so you're going to set 100 pi equal to 2r pi. You can divide both sides by pi, and they'll cancel out. So then divide both sides by 2, r equals 50. So then what you're just going to do is, you can see in my note sheet too, is you plug in 50 for r, for surface area and volume. So the tricky part is getting what r is. Same thing with b over here. So you do the circumference, 2 pi equals 2 pi r. If I divide both sides by 2 pi, 2 pi divided by 2 pi is 1, so 1 equals r. So now I'll finish this one out. So surface area equals 4 pi r squared, 4 pi 1 squared. Surface area equals 4 pi centimeters squared. And then I'll do volume. So volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Volume equals 4/3 pi 1 cubed. So volume equals 4/3 pi centimeters cubed. So here are my two answers, and it doesn't, it's not on there that I need to round to nearest tenth, so I'm just going to keep it exact. And then the last problem, a spherical ornament, so it's in the shape of a sphere, is packaged tightly inside a cube. So a cube box, I'm going to draw a cube that is 2 inches all around the sides. So I'm horrible at drawing this, but like basically there's a sphere in there. I'll get some 3D action like that. And it's inside a box. Find the amount of space left around the ornament. So this is talking about volume because it's the amount of space that takes up. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the volume of the cube minus the volume of the sphere. So the volume of the cube is 2 cubed minus the volume of a sphere, which is 4/3. Now, the radius, 4/3 pi, is going to be 1. Okay? Radius is going to be 1 because it's halfway across, so it's going to be 4/3 1 cubed. So you're going to do 8 minus this to get you your answer. And since we're talking about a real life thing, you're actually going to want to put that in your calculator, because you don't want to answer that in terms of pi, and then your units are going to be inches cubed.